I secretly built a multi-million-dollar company, and then my family required my signature. The Wilson family's annual reunion felt as stifling as ever, a weight I couldn't shake off. Crystal chandeliers glimmered above in my aunt's grand mansion, casting reflections on designer dresses and luxury watches. The atmosphere crackled with an intoxicating blend of luxury and arrogance, a signature presence that trailed my relatives like a shadow. I lingered in the shadows, observing my cousins vie for the spotlight with tales of their recent triumphs. My simple black dress, meticulously selected to merge with the shadows, became my shield against their scrutiny. Riley, my Aunt Patricia's voice sliced through the noise. I nearly missed you, still toiling away as a secretary, darling. I lifted the champagne flute to my lips, concealing a triumphant smile behind the crystal. Currently serving as an administrative assistant. She arched a perfectly manicured eyebrow. Still at that small consulting firm? What was the name once more? Apex Strategies, I responded with conviction. My cousin Daniel, newly minted partner at his father's law firm, couldn't hold back from diving in. Let's go, Liv. I can offer you a genuine opportunity, one that holds true career potential. I considered the pile of contracts awaiting my signature at my true office, not the polished facade I presented to the world. I'm content with my current position, thank you. Content. Linda's laugh sliced through the air like a blade. Sweetheart, you're squandering your power. Your cousins are all leaders, partners, real players in the game, while you're still grinding away for someone else. If only they realized that I was the one behind the mask. 10 years ago, in this very house, my journey to building an empire began, shrouded in secrecy. Fresh from business school, I held an MBA and a groundbreaking vision to transform struggling companies. After months of honing my pitch, I was certain that my family's extensive business ties would propel my career forward. They erupted in laughter. Advisory? Uncle Henry had sneered. Let the giants handle that, girl. Step into the legacy. Begin in the mailroom. Climb the ranks with determination, just as others have done. It was clear they were referring to my male cousins. The Wilson family's vision of success was rigidly outlined and meticulously governed. They forged their wealth through a web of enterprises, each led by a meticulously selected male successor. Women faced the expectation of securing advantageous marriages or settling for lesser roles. Nothing else. That night, I forged two choices that would alter the course of my destiny. I would forge my own path, creating a company in secrecy, independent and resolute. Next, I would ensure they feel the weight of every dismissive word. Apex Strategies emerged from a modest office perched above a bustling Chinese restaurant. My savings just scraped by for the rent. Yet, I possessed something far more precious than wealth. I grasped the mechanics of companies, their downfalls, and crucially, the solutions to restore them. My first client was a struggling manufacturing firm, teetering on the brink of collapse. The owner faced rejection from every prominent consulting firm in the city. For 3 months, I transformed their operations, sharpened processes, and struck deals with creditors. 6 months later, they reclaimed their profitability. Whispers circulated in elite business circles about the enigmatic consulting firm capable of resurrecting failing enterprises. I selected with precision, bringing on individuals who aligned with my vision and upheld my standards of discretion. All employees committed to unbreakable NDAs. My name has always remained in the shadows of public records. I was the CEO, nothing more. As Apex Strategies ascended, I expertly concealed my true role as a mere low-level employee. I held on to the small office above the restaurant, even as we grew into a polished downtown headquarters. When family members inquired about my job, I recounted the routine administrative tasks, their eyes dulling with indifference. The deceit ran deeper than mere pride. It was a calculated move. The Wilson family forged their business empire by seizing struggling companies at unbeatable prices. My firm excelled at rescuing companies just before they faced the threat of aggressive acquisitions. We operated in the shadows, skillfully dismantling my family's predatory ways, while forging our own path to success. A decade later, Apex Strategies emerged as a leading force in the consulting realm. With offices in 12 cities and a client roster featuring Fortune 500 giants, we transformed struggling enterprises into remarkable success stories. None of my smirking relatives had a clue. Another glass of champagne, darling? Linda's voice sliced through the haze, pulling me back to reality. While water may be your best choice, I suspect your paycheck doesn't allow for lavish indulgences. I took the champagne, my smile expertly crafted. Thank you, Linda. How is Uncle Henry's latest acquisition progressing? Wasn't it Williams Manufacturing? Her smile wavered momentarily. Complications have arisen. There's nothing Robert can't conquer naturally. Unbeknownst to her, those complications were orchestrated by me. Williams Manufacturing faced my uncle's aggressive takeover attempt. 3 months ago they sought out Apex strategies, driven by urgency and need. With the restructuring plan in motion, their stock price surged, while Uncle Henry's bid for control crumbled. I heard they brought in a consulting firm, my cousin Daniel remarked. Just wasting money on a lost cause. All consultants blend into one another. Grand declarations, empty outcomes. I concealed another smile. Apex Strategies charged a fee for rescuing Williams Manufacturing that eclipsed Daniel's earnings over 5 years at his father's company. Oh, which company? With a dismissive wave, he brushed off the summit. Insignificant presence. Dad claims the CEO hides in the shadows. Just another privileged individual pretending to navigate the corporate world. A buzz pierced through my clutch. A note from my real assistant. Urgent assembly scheduled for tomorrow at 9 a.m. Representatives from Carter Holdings are initiating discussions regarding a potential merger. Williams Production. Immediate action required. I read the message again, clarity striking hard. They were finally conceding to Williams' manufacturing prowess. Having failed to secure the company, they now pursued a merger, needing the green light from Williams' consulting firm. My empire. Tomorrow morning my family will stride into a meeting, ready to dominate and secure that merger. Instead, they would confront the secretary they had overlooked for the past decade. But I won't be bringing coffee. I would take my place at the head of the table. Is everything okay, my dear? Linda inquired, her gaze piercing through my expression. I drained my champagne and flashed her my most dazzling smile. Absolutely flawless. It's time to return home. Tomorrow's meeting is set for early morning. Oh, jotting down insights for a key figure? Is that what you had in mind? I responded, envisioning my outfit with precision. Precisely that. The following morning I found myself in my private elevator, rising to the executive floor of Apex Strategies. The simple black dress from last night's reunion was a distant memory. Today I donned a tailored Chanel suit in deep navy, a bold choice for a decisive moment. Zoe stood poised at the elevator doors, tablet in hand, her knowing smile cutting through the tension. The Carter Holdings team made their entrance with purpose. She narrated as we moved forward. Your uncle appears eager to connect with Summit's CEO. No doubt about it. I examined my reflection in the sleek glass wall. Flawless. Are they in the primary conference room? Indeed, alongside Mr. Thompson from Williams Manufacturing. Zoe's eyes gleamed with fierce anticipation. Daniel, your cousin, is present as well. He was adamant about managing the legal matters himself. A smirk crossed my face as I recalled Daniel's patronizing job offer from just yesterday. Who else stands with the family? Linda arrived, a silent force of support, though not an official participant in the meeting. Your cousin Ryan is the face of Carter Holdings' finance department. An ideal crowd. I glanced at my watch. 8:57 a.m. Were they offered coffee? Your aunt expressed frustration over the lack of service. Zoe's smile expanded, fierce and unyielding. I informed them that the administrative assistant would arrive momentarily. I nearly burst into laughter. For a decade I stood as the unseen backbone, quietly supporting family members during their office visits. They overlooked the silent force who served their coffee and collected their coats. The cover was flawless. Just 2 minutes, I insisted. Now let's present the contracts. Voices echoed through the imposing conference room doors. My uncle's commanding voice, Linda's incisive laughter, Daniel's self-satisfied remarks. With a steady breath, I swung the doors wide. The dialogue cut off suddenly. My uncle occupied one end of the long table, clearly asserting his dominance. Daniel and Ryan stood beside him, their expensive suits radiating the weight of inherited wealth. Linda sat poised, scrutinizing her manicure with an air of deliberate indifference. Mr. Thompson from Williams Manufacturing sat isolated, his discomfort palpable. At last, Linda exhaled deeply. We've been anticipating our coffee for. She paused, her gaze piercing through me for the first time. Riley? What's your outfit choice? Why aren't you holding coffee? I strode confidently to the head of the table, taking the seat directly across from Uncle Henry. I no longer serve coffee, Linda. I never truly did. What is this? Uncle Henry commanded. Where is the CEO of Summit? A meeting with the true decision-maker was assured to us. You have emerged. I took my seat, relishing the bewilderment etched on their expressions. I lead Apex Strategies as its CEO. I've been at this since founding the company a decade ago. The ensuing silence was thunderous. Daniel's mouth moved in a frantic, silent gasp, struggling for words. Ryan let the pen slip from his grasp. Linda's flawless facade shattered. Uncle Henry regained his composure swiftly, his face flushing with intensity. This is outrageous. You hold the position of a secretary. No, I stated firmly. That was a facade. Clearly, it's strikingly effective as none of you have dared to look beyond it. Your doubt blinded you to my success, which was already unfolding. Zoe strode in, a stack of contracts in hand, commanding the room's attention. She allocated them with precision, then positioned herself firmly behind my chair. The documents detail the conditions for Apex Strategies' potential approval of the merger between Carter Holdings and Williams Manufacturing. Consider the approval, Daniel stammered. This can't be real. This has to be a joke, doesn't it? An intricate ruse, perhaps? I retrieved my phone and cast Summit's latest financial statements onto the wall screen. Apex Strategies commands a formidable portfolio, overseeing more than $12 billion in client assets. With a striking 94% success rate in corporate restructuring, our authority is essential for any significant alterations to Williams Manufacturing's business framework. I flashed a confident smile at my astonished relatives. Does that seem like a joke to you? This can't be happening, Linda whispered. You underestimated me. You've always been insignificant. That's precisely the conclusion you were intended to reach. I faced Mr. Thompson. Can you clarify to my family why you opted for Apex Strategies instead of Carter Holdings' initial proposal? Mr. Thompson sat up, a commanding presence in the room. Summit's reputation stands unmatched. When Carter Holdings launched their aggressive takeover, Summit's restructuring plan emerged as our salvation. Profits have surged by 47% following the implementation of their strategies. Revamping strategy? Ryan appeared on the brink of collapse. The strategy that shattered our acquisition effort? You were there alongside others. I started counting cases on my fingers. Nexel Electronics, the target of your acquisition attempt last year. Ocean Line Freight, a challenge you underestimated last quarter. The Northbridge Group, which made a striking comeback just before your chance to acquire them slipped away. I leaned in, poised and ready. For a decade, I've been strategically dismantling every predatory acquisition your company has attempted. Uncle Henry's face had transformed into a striking shade of purple. You intentionally challenged family expectations business. Correction made. I created a business that empowers companies to thrive rather than dismantling them for scraps. The disruption to your plans was merely a twist of fate's design. This is absurd. Daniel rose, his voice firm and unwavering. I'm reaching out to our legal team. Take a seat, Daniel. My voice commanded attention, leaving him momentarily paralyzed. Take a moment to examine those contracts before you, the ones your firm tirelessly pursued for this pivotal meeting. I witnessed the moment clarity struck him. Absolutely. The standout client for your law firm this year. That was me as well. Zoe advanced, clutching another document tightly. Summit stands strong in the market, showcasing a robust position and significant liquid assets. We stand poised to seize control of Carter Holdings at our discretion. The room exploded into turmoil. Linda was on the verge of hyperventilating. Ryan scanned the numbers on his phone with urgency. Daniel slumped into his chair, eyes wide with disbelief. This is strategic pressure, Uncle Henry responded sharply. No, I stated firmly. This is a force to be reckoned with. The kind you showed me I could never master. I rose, adjusting my jacket with precision. The deadline is 5 p.m. Today we will dissect the merger terms. They show remarkable generosity given our circumstances. If you refuse, Apex Strategies will start acquiring Carter Holdings stock on the open market tomorrow morning. I approached the door, then hesitated. Oh, and Linda, that champagne you graciously offered me last night? I own the vineyard that produces it. Acquired it last year. The coffee you craved this morning, that chain as well. I smiled with fierce determination. It seems my paycheck can indeed accommodate my lavish desires. The door shut with a finality that echoed against their shocked expressions. In my private office, I seized a fleeting moment to confront the whirlwind of events that had just unfolded. A decade of meticulous disguise of embodying the unseen underdog had culminated in this pivotal moment. Zoe strode in, a steaming cup of my favorite blend from my own coffee chain in hand. Did it live up to the anticipation? I recalled the countless moments spent pouring coffee in this office, observing my family dismiss me, underestimating my worth, reducing me to nothing more than a mere secretary. My phone buzzed relentlessly, each second a sharp reminder of the world outside. Messages flooded in from family, clearly aware of the meeting's significance. I muted it with a glance away. It would have ample opportunity to confront their transformed existence. At this moment, I command an empire. For the first time in a decade, I could embrace my true self without fear. The following 48 hours unfolded with the intensity you'd anticipate when a family, steeped in power and image, realizes they no longer reign supreme in the hierarchy. Messages flooded in right after the meeting concluded. Linda, let's dive into this over lunch. You have always been my favorite niece. Daniel, rise up. Live boldly. We were merely having fun. Family must unite. Ryan, this is unacceptable. We are bound by blood. I shut them out, honing in on the barrage of emails from the Carter Holdings board members. They were far from foolish. They sensed the shifting tides. By noon, an emergency board meeting was called into action. By 3, they decisively embraced Summit's merger terms. Uncle Henry, as expected, made his presence known with defiance. You have turned your back on this family. His voice sliced through the silence of my office as he stormed in without warning. Zoe stepped forward, but I dismissed her with a gesture. Allow him his spotlight. Actually, I remarked, my gaze fixed on the screen, I've gained insights from this family. Isn't this precisely what you showed us? Claim your strength, vanquish rivals, display no vulnerability. We offered you all that brought me joy. You offered me emptiness, a void beneath the void. You showed me my worth was tied to others, but I will create something greater for myself. After a decade of deception, I finally met his gaze. You allowed yourselves to be misled, perceiving only what you anticipated, a subdued, unassertive woman who understood her role. Your error, not mine. Suddenly, the fight vanished from him. He settled into one of my visitor chairs, appearing more aged than I had ever witnessed. What compels you to show yourself at this moment? You could have kept your operations hidden. It was time to take a stand. I shut my laptop with purpose. Williams Manufacturing is not the sole target in your acquisition quest. Zephyr Systems, Maritime Solutions, and at least 3 more contenders stand ready. Organizations with strong teams and robust offerings, poised for transformation. I'm done witnessing your destruction of them. It's just business, he argued, his voice faltering. Enough is enough. This business needs a new direction. I thrust a folder into his hands. The final merger terms are set. Apex Strategies is set to take a commanding stake in Carter Holdings. We will transform the company to elevate businesses, not dismantle them. Remain as a consultant if you embrace the new path forward. If not, your exit strategy is detailed on page 3. He opened the folder, hands shaking with anticipation. You've anticipated it all. I was taught by the finest. I offered a smile, cold and distant, far from your expectation. Once he departed, Zoe entered with a formidable stack of newspapers. The summit's revelation was already dominating the headlines. A hidden CEO unveils the story of a woman who crafted a billion-dollar empire in the shadows. The Wilson family is stunned. A success story that took everyone by surprise. The phone buzzed once more, delivering a message of significance. My mother, having severed ties with Uncle Henry's brother long ago to escape the Wilson family's toxicity, sent a brief message. I always knew you would prove them wrong. The coming weeks unfolded in a storm of transformation. The Carter Holdings board boldly championed Summit's fresh trajectory. Their stock price soared by 40% following the merger announcement. Once feared, the Wilson name now draws eager partnerships from companies. The media was captivated by the narrative. Linda attempted to frame it as a touching family triumph. Riley's potential was evident from the start, she revealed to a reporter. This clearly demonstrates that the Wilson spirit of entrepreneurship is inherent and unstoppable. I countered by unveiling archived footage from last year's family reunion, where she took 20 minutes to outline why I would never achieve anything. The footage exploded online. She ceased all interviews from that moment onward. Daniel launched a bold defense, asserting he had orchestrated it from the start. His shocked face was now a spectacle. witnessed by too many in that conference room. Clients of his law firm started to doubt his judgment. In just a month, he was discreetly urged to step away. Ryan swiftly seized the moment, presenting a business proposal to me merely 2 weeks after the revelation. Over an uncomfortable lunch, he proposed that we could seize control of the market together. The Wilson Summit Alliance would be a force to be reckoned with. That's not the essence of Apex strategies, I asserted. We don't conquer, we uplift. True transformation unfolded in the stillness. The young intern, eyes glistening, expressed her gratitude for revealing that true success demands unwavering integrity. The female executives began to connect, revealing their own narratives of being overlooked. The business schools that called upon me to share insights on achieving ethical success in a ruthless landscape. 3 months post-revelation, I stood on stage, accepting the Business Innovation Award, my gaze sweeping over the audience. My mother sat in the front row radiating pride. Behind her were several of my former administrative assistants, all women who had skillfully upheld my facade while forging their own paths within Summit. Success transcends mere power, I declared to the audience. It's all about wielding your power effectively. For a decade, I embodied a character that led influential figures to misjudge my strength. I could have unveiled my true self earlier, but I opted to bide my time until Apex strategies gained the strength to drive genuine transformation. The applause roared, yet true fulfillment arrived in the shadows of the night. Late in the office, I was immersed in my work when Zoe burst in with a captivating piece of news. Uncle Henry has just declared his retirement. His resignation letter contained a striking and unforeseen paragraph. My niece revealed that real business success transcends acquisitions and assets. It lies in the positive impact we forge. It's a harsh truth that only through losing my grip on the company did I uncover this lesson. I reclined in my chair, reflecting on the strategic moves I had executed. A decade of meticulous strategy, of suppressing ego and remaining in the shadows, had culminated in this defining moment. Apex strategies didn't just succeed, it revolutionized the way business operates. The upcoming family reunion promises to be captivating. I intended to take charge in Summit's main conference room, the very space where I had poured coffee countless times, biding my time for the moment to reveal my true self. Zoe rapped sharply on my door. 4 o'clock has arrived. The head of Zephyr Systems, the firm your uncle aimed to take over. I smiled with determination. Bring them in. What about Zoe? Serve coffee for all. The finest from our collection. As I rose to welcome my guests, my reflection in the window caught my eye. Step into the light. Embrace your strength. I forged something extraordinary, not in spite of my family's disregard, but fueled by it. They showed me that true power defies expectations. At first glance, she appears as a serene figure in a sleek black dress, pouring coffee and jotting down notes, all the while crafting an empire unnoticed. The tabloids labeled it vengeance. The business papers hailed it as a masterstroke. For me, it was pure justice, delivered one corporate takeover at a time, accompanied by a flawlessly brewed coffee. In a modest office perched above a bustling Chinese restaurant, my original desk remains, a silent witness to the past. I hold it close as a testament that true success isn't defined by labels or the need for recognition. At times it operates in silence, steadfastly crafting the remarkable as the world remains oblivious. That's the true key to triumph. It's not the strength you display, but the strength you cultivate in silence.